show. Again, my name is Hill, Hil. I have Andrew on my right, and we have Mike Games on the left. And we were coming back from talking about Nintendo's E3 showing, and now we're going to talk about a lot of the developers and the companies that actually presented during the E3 showing as well. And then after that, we're going to talk about what kind of games we were playing. So right off the back, what were some of the games that you were most excited about? Don't necessarily break it down by console, but talk about the developers themselves.
I was actually kind of excited about Quantum Dreams Beyond Two Souls.
Really?
But it was funny because, I mean, I've been really excited about Puff the Magic Dragon.
And just to give you guys a backstory, we call it I've called it Puff the Magic Dragon because it's a little girl who's kind of crazy, and then there's a dragon that no one can see.
If you explain the joke, it's not funny.
Well,
It's an imaginary friend, pretty much.
Yeah, it's an imaginary friend, right?
Snuffleupagus.
But no, I mean, I was actually really excited for that game, and it was funny because after Quantum Dream showed off the Dark Sorcerer, just to kind of show the power of the PS4, right. And after seeing the Order 1886 and
right.
All those other next gen games,
mm-hmm.
Going back to seeing Beyond Two Souls, it already looks dated. I mean, it looked amazing at the time when they
right.
first announced it, but now after seeing all the next gen games, it looks dated. Which it's funny because it's not even out yet.
And this is a point I'm going to make later as well, because after watching a lot of E3's, next gen graphics. And I was playing The Last of Us, and even though I love the art style in that game, I was like, yeah, this graphics engine has become a little dated. And that's what you can feel in a lot of PlayStation 3 games. So you're interested in Beyond Two Souls. You're also interested in what Quantum Dream was actually coming out with, which was Beyond Two Souls.
And the Dark Sorcerer. I mean, it's not a game. I think a lot of people were confused if it was a game.
Yeah, I thought it was a game.
Yeah, but it's just something that they came out with just to kind of show the power.
It was really appealing because halfway through it, I was like, is this not an actual actor? At one point, I was really like, is this not an actual actor? And graphics don't fool me at all. I can see if something is CG'd or not, and halfway through, I was like, yeah, this seems actually kind of real.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Dark Sorcerer, they did a really good job with, showing off the power. But yeah, sorry guys, it's actually just a little movie, a funny movie that
right.
they did to show off the power. But
you're apologizing like you put it together. It probably took them like 5 years to graph all that technology together. Right, exactly. Okay, there's a lot of games that happened during E3, so you're only excited about those three. You didn't care about
the Order 1886. I think we were long overdue for a werewolf game. If that's what it is, that's what it is.
I'm calling it. I think it's a werewolf game.
I totally think it's a werewolf game, and
it's in Great Britain. There's things jumping around. That look like wolves. Bald-headed wolves.
Very steampunkish.
It's very steampunkish.
Yeah, I mean, if they're saying they pretty much said that that's in engine, the cinematic was in engine, so it's pretty much meaning that's how the gameplay is going to look like.
Wow.
So if that's really how the gameplay is looking like, I'm super excited for PlayStation 4. So yeah, that really got me excited in all senses of the word. But yeah, werewolves. I think it's about time that they have a little bit of the spotlight. It's been vampires, it's been zombies. Now, hopefully,
I don't know about you guys. I'm all zombied out.
Yeah, I'm not. I can kill zombies. Just put it in front of me.
Oh my goodness! Every variation of zombie I've seen, and except for like maybe a flying zombie, I haven't seen one yet, and that's probably going to come soon.
Star Wars zombies. It needs to happen.
Maybe for the next Battlefront.
Right, exactly.
That's another one actually. Star Wars Battlefront. They just touched the tip a little bit, get you a little excited. They showed a little tip. And excited about that. And speaking of zombies, kind of excited about Dead Rising 3.
Really? A lot of people were like throwing mud at that game after they seen it. They were like, oh, it's too serious or something like that. What were your impressions?
It's a zombie game. It looks fun.
Yeah, I think they actually did another demo, or at least I was reading from other reporters behind the scenes, and they actually showed that it was a lot more fun
right.
than the actual demo that they showed at E3. I can kill zombies. You put one in front of me, I love it.
That's bad that the developers had to say, no, look, our game is actually fun.
Yeah, I think it just looked more serious because of probably the engine just made it look more in the art style. I think they changed it a little bit, but yeah, I love that. Plants vs Zombies.
Oh yeah, Plants vs Zombies 2.
Yeah, well, not 2, just the first person shooter, Plants vs Zombie or whatever it was called. That looked fun. I'm totally in it. That was EA, and I'm not
PopCap.
And I'm not a fan of EA. And Mirror's Edge 2, which I like Mirror's Edge 1.
Probably won't come out until 2018, but thank you for showing us that little bit.
Yeah, if they don't, they're just kind of making that question's going to be asked every year until it actually is released. So,
and then it's going to get so much hype, and people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be the greatest game of the world." And then it comes out, and they're like, "Oh, this is like Mirror's Edge 1, but with better graphics."
Now, have you two played Mirror's Edge?
Yeah, I played it.
You played
on the iPad.
Oh, you mean that version, like the
Yeah,
iOS
that
version?
version,
Yeah, that was actually fun. I liked
Yeah.
it on there. There was a Captain America one that was very much like it. So, but yeah, Mirror's Edge, I was really excited about that. Was there anything else that you were?
Watch Dogs. I mean, who's not excited about that?
Well, yeah, that's a given. Watch Dogs, Grand Theft Auto 5 that they showed a little bit of. What else? I really like. I'm a racing car fan, and I've seen.
You had your fill this year.
Oh my goodness! Like, what's the one that PlayStation
Drive Club?
Drive Club.
Yeah.
Drive Club looks really good. I don't really understand it fully. I kind of get an idea because they were explaining it.
Well, it's free, so you'll have your chance to play it.
Right. Also, Forza and Gran Turismo 6, and they look really, really good. Gran Turismo 6, they were saying, oh, yeah, we have new tire physics because that's important to you. Tire physics.
Need for Speed.
Need for Speed. I've never been that big of a Need for Speed fan because I'm not into arcade racing. I want something a little bit more realistic.
They're coming out with a movie. What's more real than that?
Well, that's true. Yeah. I was going to say something about Fast and Furious and realistic. Come on now. Like, seriously.
You give me some cruising, man. I'm good. Cruising World, Cruising USA.
Was it Cruising 2021 or something?
Yeah,
like that?
I'll be happy with that, but that's as far as my driving goes.
Mad Max.
Mad Max?
I mean, I think all the older crowds can.
Everyone over the age of 28 was like, yeah. It was funny, too, because whenever they announced it, like, the crowd was like, silent. I've never heard an E3 silent, crowd be so silent.
Just imagine trying to explain it. It was like, it's Mel Gibson, the good Mel Gibson. Wait, what?
It's the back not crazy Mel Gibson.
Right. It's during the dystopia.
It's when he acted crazy as an actor, not when he was crazy
crazy
as a person.
or was that a foreshadowing?
Exactly. He became those people just through racism in there.
But even then, it's like with Mad Max, they just show like a trailer, but they didn't really show what it's going to be like. I'm going to make a quick prediction. I think it's going to be something similar to what you see in like Resident Evil 5 or 6, like that over the shoulder camera, and you can just kind of go. It's going to be kind of linear. I feel that's going to happen. You're going to meet these characters. That's my prediction.
I have a feeling that with something like that, it has to be like an open world game.
You think it's going to be open world?
I feel like it would need to be just for that big of a world, trying to get gas and things like that. I mean, I could be completely wrong.
That would be awesome. I mean, could you imagine like, just like in the trailer, he had to decide if he wanted to waste a bullet or not on the guy. So you have
he wasted gas.
He wasted gas instead, and then you have to consider gas, and you always got like bounty hunters coming after you.
Yeah, just imagine your car breaking down in the middle, and now you got to go find,
You got to go run somewhere.
Yeah.
Hell, that's what it was like for me.
Tina Turner's in there somewhere.
Tina Turner, yeah, all 70 years old over. Yeah. That would be interesting. What else? I'm trying to think.
Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, who?
Oh yeah, Square Enix. They just came out.
Square brought it, man.
Yeah. And we were.
You want Final Fantasy?
Here's 3
2 games and a Kingdom Hearts game.
Oh, y'all were asking for this for many years. Here you go. Congrats.
Still no 7, but I can forgive them.
Which you originally thought that it might have been 7.
No, that was Andrew.
That was me.
Well, no, I mean when they were showing.
When they were showing it, yeah, because most Final Fantasy characters are starting to look the same to me. I can't differentiate them. And I was like, oh, that could be Final Fantasy 7. And then they showed it like the battles like in real time. I was like, this is not Final Fantasy 7. But I wanted it, and that's something that's never happened to me with the Final Fantasy game for a long time. So that shows that Square Enix is doing something.
Yeah.
Because I think Final Fantasy 10 was the last one I played. I was like, all right, I'm done. Because I've played all 10 of them. You know,
Not 10-2 or anything like that.
No, I didn't care. I had stopped afterwards.
12 was actually good, I think.
I've heard 12 was good, but 9 is my favorite.
Yeah, the Goku.
Right, exactly. 9 is my favorite, but anyway, I digress. They really brought me back into it with 15, and I haven't even played the first Kingdom Hearts, and it's always been interesting. I'm really happy for the Kingdom Hearts fanboys that they're getting their third because they've been asking for it for a long time.
For sure.
Yeah. And the Mega Man fanboys are back somewhere like, what the hell? Like, they get to get the games that they want. We can't get what we want. And Capcom's like, shut up.
Eat your Devil May Cry.
Right, exactly. Here's another reboot of Devil May Cry now. Other than Square Enix, let's see who else. I mean, Bungie, I'm really excited about their Destiny game. It's basically a mixture of Halo and Borderlands.
Oh gosh, yeah, that I was not excited about it. I mean, I was like, I got to see some gameplay before I judged it. And gosh, did they bring it?
Right.
I was like, here, take my money now.
It was funny because Greg was laughing at me because I was like, man, that walk animation is amazing. He was like, really?
It's the details.
Yeah.
It's the details.
Well, he started off with like that glare. That glare is amazing. But it's just, and while I was bringing out as far as walk animation, I meant like they were able to add so much weight to the character. And whenever you play multiplayer games and you see other characters or other people controlling these characters, when they're moving about, walking around rocks and things of that nature, they seem kind of glitchy and whimsical, but they felt like they were actually present in the game, and that's something that kept you in tune to it. Now, the terrible commentating by the two, I think they were developers that were playing the game at the time, and just took me completely out of it. I had to mute it halfway through.
That didn't bother me so much. I mean,
I know
sometimes takes me out of it. Some scripted.
Yeah, I mean, I watched so many E3s that at the point I tried to block it out when it started getting pretty terrible.
Well, it's either that or realistically, you have some kid yelling at you and calling you all these profanities.
Well, what about
and then
all
the
the
mom
other
telling them to get off the network and do their homework.
At least they would make it more believable.
But I'd rather take the two guys being fake.
Well, what about the other developers? Because they were doing the right thing of not saying anything at all. Just like, here's your game.
Well, I think they needed something,
Really?
Yeah, I think they needed.
I mean, what about like Ubisoft, for example? Because when they were showcasing, where everyone's waiting for is Assassin's Creed Black Flag, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that demo didn't go so great.
Well, it's just because it glitched up halfway through. That's fine.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Don't judge the game.
I was embarrassed for them. I really
Don't judge the game.
Oh, I was judging the game.
I'm actually really excited for that game. It's one of
already
the ones.
bought, Andrew. Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure I lost my faith in Assassin's Creed with the last one. I haven't beaten it, and I actually was telling myself that's the next game I'm going to beat. I'm halfway through it right now.
Even though I'm defending Assassin's Creed, I never played another one after one because I really just
one
don't.
was horrible though.
I know
gameplay was horrible.
Every Assassin's Creed fan tells me that, and they all look like just like Black Flag. It just looks like another Assassin's Creed game. I mean, the only dynamic that you really add is,
you're a pirate.
You're a pirate, and you can do the
Who
shit.
doesn't? Every kid grew up, wanting to be a
Now
pirate.
go against
I
that.
wanted to be a ninja. So
Now go against what they have changed differently. Do you see that it is just another Assassin's Creed game, or do you think they've made a lot of changes to be significant?
It looks more fun. I mean, it looks like
More
they
fun
add-
than the previous one?
Yeah.
I think it looks a lot more fun than the last one for sure.
Yeah. I think they took some of the best parts of the Assassin's Creed 3 and put it in this. And I know one of the big gripes about Assassin's Creed 3 was Connor wasn't as charismatic as Ezio.
It's just a boring story, man.
Well, I mean, and this is how I'll defend Assassin's Creed 3. He was a little bit of a dry character, but once he started doing his side missions, it kind of added more depth, and he didn't come off as a douchebag. And that's what made the game a little more fun for me.
I love the beginning of Assassin's Creed 3. I thought the beginning was like, oh man, that's amazing. That twist at the beginning, and I can't spoil it, but it hooked me so much that I was like, oh, this game's gonna be amazing, and then it just went off on this like, okay, now here's a dictionary, read.
Well, and I thought the concept of Assassin's Creed during the American Revolution was something very interesting.
Very
I was like, oh, you almost got me. And I seen just how everything was kind of played out. I was like, you know, not interested anymore.
And it's actually really interesting. I don't know if this is a spoiler, but I think it's pretty interesting that Assassin's Creed 4 is pretty much a prequel
It's a
to
prequel.
Assassin's Creed 3.
No, that's not spoiled. They let it be known that it's a prequel.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Part 4 of a game is a prequel to Part 3.
Oh yeah, that's never been done before.
It's just to
Metal Gear Solid.
justify how bad 3 is.
I really liked
I
it.
know. I'm just messing with you. I'm the same way. When I play a game and I'll see if I can justify it anyway, just because I do start to fall with the characters. And probably when I beat it, I'll probably feel the same way that I probably actually like the game. But at this point, it just made me mad that it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Which share your thoughts with us on Assassin's Creed 3.
Yeah, definitely give us your comments.
No, you can keep them to yourself.
Or if you're excited about a 4.
Or 5 or 6.
What's next, Ninjas?
Yeah,
Kanye's already there.
Right? No. I predict it's going to be the next one's got to be an Asian.
Samurais.
It's got to be an Asian. It's got to be somewhere in Asia.
Samurais.
You think it's gonna be samurais or ninjas? Because it's
Samurais.
I think it'll be Batman.
Assassin's Creed, Batman.
That's another
It's gonna be
game.
a crossover.
That's another game excited
Oh my
about.
god, I
Batman
can see.
Origins.
I can see the fanboys of both sides. Before we get to Batman Origins, I can see the fanboys of both sides just falling out, just crying over it. Like, what? Why would
Assassin's
you
Creed
Batman?
Batman.
Yeah. Like what?
Why not?
Anyway, about Batman's Origins. What do you guys think about that?
I was actually really scared. That a different studio was taking
A lot
over.
of people were. Yeah.
But after them showing all the demos on E3, I'm not scared anymore. I
Right.
mean, it looks like an Arkham game,
Right.
and except now he's wearing a Dark Knight Returns armor.
Right.
Yeah.
I really like Black Mask as a villain. He's very underutilized in a lot of Batman stories and narratives.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they brought him in and also had other assassins go against Batman. So I'm really, really excited about that narrative and how that
I'd
works
love to
out.
see Ra's al Ghul in there somewhere.
I'm
So I think
burnt
that-
out on Ra's al
Not
Ghul.
me. Not
He-
me. I can never get enough of that guy.
Like, why don't you just die? Just die.
He doesn't die.
Yeah.
I know. Just die already.
Yeah,
Lazarus
I'm
Pit.
excited about that game too. I think it's great. I was just like, here's my money, take it. Give me a demo right now.
The
Yeah,
one
it's
thing
bought.
I think the one gripe I have is the younger looking Joker and Bane. I mean, I get why. Of course, I mean it's a prequel, so they have to make him look younger looking. But I think they changed him up a little too much.
Both of them?
Yeah, I mean, like the Bane looks a little too more realistic than the Batman Arkham City.
Right.
He looks really cartoony in there, and then in
I could see
Origins now he looks just like real world.
And isn't
Like
it
the
like
movie type?
and
Not quite there, but I mean he looks a little more realistic.
isn't like this Joker like not being played by Mark Hamill?
I don't think either. They didn't get any of the actors.
Like
back.
even Conroy,
Yeah.
none of them.
It sounds like him though. I mean,
Yeah.
they very
Yeah,
much sounds like
it
him,
sounds just like him,
but I don't think they got him. So.
but he doesn't have the feeling. Like
Yeah.
Kevin Conroy,
True.
can do. You don't know that he's Batman. You just know it's a guy in a suit. No, I'm just joking.
Man, I actually can't remember the actor's name, but yeah, it's actually the guy that's voicing the Joker is the lead character in the infamous Second Son.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
He's the son.
That's interesting. Okay, well, what did you feel about Deathstrike?
Oh,
being a playable-
Deathstroke.
Yeah, Deathstroke.
I'm excited,
yeah.
especially since if you pre-order him on the PlayStation, I think it is, you get to play as Deathstroke, and I'm really psyched for that.
I think that's going to be interesting, like playing with a character with a gun in an Arkham environment. Then it's going to be kind of interesting.
Yeah,
I'm not going to use it because I use melee weapons in every game I can. But
Hit him with the butt of your gun.
Well,
well, he has swords.
I don't think it's gonna be like an actual playable character like within the actual story of the game.
Right.
It's gonna be just kind of like those, just like in the previous Arkham games, you could go.
But the mechanics will still be there. I would imagine. Yeah. So that's why I'd say it's going to be kind of interesting. Because even in Arkham City and Arkham Asylum, I mean, I wasn't. Where you had like batarangs and stuff like that. I wasn't using those. I was hitting people with my fist.
Dragging them to the sewer.
Exactly. Hanging them
hiding
up.
the bodies.
That's what Batman does.
Where'd he go? I don't like what's going on here, guys.
I'm freaking out.
I do like what they added to the game, so I'm just excited for it.
Okay. Well, what else? I hope we're not missing anything before we start talking about the games that we are playing right now.
Yeah, I mean, Ubisoft had a couple. You mentioned a few, but The Division by Tom Clancy I thought was amazing.
Yeah, a lot of people are clamoring about that game.
Yeah, I was pretty excited about that. I mean, it seems like they took the engine of Watch Dogs and then they kind of put it in this weird destroyed future.
on the side there, I always feel like Tom Clancy, whenever he writes his books, it always feels like he writes his material with the video game in mind. Like, it just works so well in my mind.
He may do that now. I don't think his original intent.
Well, of course not,
yeah.
right? But now it just seems like, because his narrative and his story arcs always flow together with the game mechanics, which is something very hard to achieve. Mm-hmm. Look at Tomb Raider, for example. Take that, Mike. No, like Tomb Raider wasn't really able to achieve that too much, and y'all can disagree in comments.
Well, maybe Tom Clancy should have wrote that.
If that was the case, then Lara Croft would have been like a sleeper agent from Russia or something.
Is there anything wrong with that? There was also, Splinter Cell, which a lot of people were excited for. I was not, but unfortunately, it kind of lost me. Haven't lost the actor, and then even the last game didn't really feel like a Splinter Cell game. It felt very actiony.
Okay.
And as it's moving more and more towards action, it's not really sneaking in a building, shooting out lights, which I really loved. On the counterpoint of that, you see like Metal Gear Solid, which is staying true to their. Yeah, it's Kojima,
he does what he does.
He does what he does, and I wasn't excited about the demo, but
with the Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, especially in the beginning, as the demo went on, I got more excited about it.
He already has my money.
Yeah, we all know where you stand with Kojima. You know your bros. But I'll get it. I'll buy it. As much as I'm complaining about it, I will buy it because.
What complaints did you have about it?
Just I felt like Metal Gear Solid 4 was the demo for that one. Just felt more futuristic. It felt. I know it's a different time period and this, but I just felt that it looked so much better in my memory. Right. Now I could probably go back and look at it right now, and it probably does. It probably looks very dated, but. It didn't. This demo did not leave me with that. I was being the graphics and all that were actually making me want to buy that game.
Well, what about the tech demo that he shows with the guy with the torn up head and torn up face getting on the helicopter plane?
Yeah,
that didn't really have any effect on you.
It
just looks so movie like. I was just
it does, and all his games are like that,
right?
But I don't know. It just something. About the suit changing and that demo with the little robot in 4 and being able to control
increase
that.
A lot of excitement.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, this is what I wanted out of a Metal Gear game. And this one is just, it seems like a step back and it didn't feel as high tech as the other
All right,
ones.
well, on to the opposite side of that, like Mike, you really haven't got a chance to play Metal Gear Solid games because you're busy with like Assassin's Creed and everything else important.
Yeah.
What did you feel about the demo that they showed? Would this be the game to get you into playing Metal Gear Solid?
Actually, I did think that after I saw the demo, and then after playing Last of Us, since it's kind of like one of those sneaking right when I was playing that, I just thought about Metal Gear Solid. I'm like,
would you start off in 5 though?
I was gonna get the new Legacy,
like their Legacy Collection edition that's coming out.
But while playing Last of Us, I was like, this is why I never played Metal Gear, and I'm probably not going to get the Legacy Collection.
Okay, yeah.
I'm a guns a-blazing kind of guy.
I will tell you, like, Metal Gear Solid has prepared me for lots of sneaking mechanics in different games.
Yeah.
It trains you very well.
Yeah, for sure.
In fact, it got me to a point where I would complain that there's not sneaking in certain areas. Like Borderlands 2, for example, when you go into a new town and people don't know that you're there, even if you're sneaking around, they still know that you're there. It drives me crazy. I'm like, the logic of that doesn't. I'm like, whatever. What about Anything else that kind of drew your attention? Any Killer
Oddworld?
Instinct fans? Oh, Oddworld. Okay.
Yeah, I mean a remake. I love the Oddworld universe.
I think this generation after us is really gonna like it.
Yeah,
really gonna like
I think
Oddworld.
they did a re-release of the first-person shooter from Oddworld, which I love too, and that just came out on the Vita and the PlayStation. But yeah, I love Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, all that stuff, Munchie's Odyssey, all that stuff. It's great. It's a great puzzle game.
And a real quick shout out to some of these indie games as well before we start talking about the games that we're playing, like Transistor,
Rain for me, I was all about Rain.
Rain, which is 3D Limbo in my mindset.
Yeah, hey, I love Limbo. So
Yeah.
Transistor was great that you mentioned. There were a lot of indie games that I wish I could just.
And the indie games were
name
just
off.
killing it. I was like, the releases that they were coming out with, I'm so proud of them because they're coming out with some really creative stuff.
For sure.
And in fact, I wish, and this could be a topic for another day, but I wish that they were kind of looked on as a separate industry altogether, so they can get more promotion and marketing, because it's not fair to be overshadowed by these AAA games. Yeah.
Sure. I do have a prediction that I do think that eventually game companies will start to buy those exclusives because they're a lot cheaper than saying go into
Right.
Bungie or something like that. So
Right.
they'll go to an indie developer and they'll be like, we'll pay for that exclusive indie game. Which
That's-
Xbox is
I was
kinda
gonna say
doing.
that's what
Xbox is
Microsoft
kinda doing
does.
now.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling it'll be more and more as this console comes out. It'll be more like that.
Well, what happens a lot is that these publishers, they'll come out and they will do that. Like EA is known to do that from time to time,
Yeah.
but they want to make changes.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's what drives me crazy.
Yeah, EA is awful.
Anyway, as far as talking about Transistor, let's transition. Okay.
Okay.
How you like that? Yeah. So we're going to transition to what kind of games that we're playing. Mike, we haven't heard from you yet as far as the games that you're playing. What are you playing right now?
I'm actually playing Far Cry 3
I thought you
Blood
beat it.
Dragon.
Oh, okay.
No, the Blood Dragon.
The Blood Dragon.
Yeah, Far Cry 3, actually, the first-person game I actually beat. And I really liked it. Now I'm playing the Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
So Far Cry 3 was Mike's first-person shooter game that he actually sat down and played through because he just doesn't like them.
Yeah,
Right.
and I still don't like them.
There are no Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, exactly. I just hate there's a dog right next to me biting the shit out of my ankles, and I can't see him. I have to do a 360 view.
It makes perfect sense. I mean, the camera in those, if they're not done well, it's a horrible experience.
And well, then take that and let's move that into Call of Duty. So you have that along with a bunch of 12-year-olds online screaming obscenities at you while dodging grenades. So
I probably would throw my game console out there. So I stay away from them.
that's Call of Duty. There we go.
And, I was still cussing at the TV playing Far Cry 3, but the story was fun. I love the hunting. But now, playing Blood Dragon, and I just love the whole cheesiness of the 80s.
And that says a lot to the makers of Far Cry.
Yeah.
That they've done a really good job at what they do.
Gosh, I wish more companies would do that. Take their engine and
That's what I was saying.
Just redo something crazy.
Just have fun with it. Yeah. And you can charge
just
for it.
Just to let people know, hey, we realize that the heavy game you play like Far Cry can still just be fun a video game.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think somebody's already done that, which is Kojima. He did that with like VR missions with Metal Gear Solid. And
You and Kojima, man.
see, I'm gonna big him up. Kojima should take over Nintendo. He should just do it. No, I'm joking. I'm just joking. Jeez. What else about Far Cry?
Well, no, I mean, I just really love how they went completely 80s for the Blood Dragon.
That's
I mean,
great.
the music is all 80s. Some of the cutscenes look like a cheesy 80s game.
Right.
And I mean,
Cheesy.
Well, looking back at them now, they're pretty cheesy.
They're great.
Well, I love those games. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, I'm completely loving Blood Dragon. And then, just like everybody else and their moms, I'm playing The Last of Us.
Right.
And I'm absolutely loving the game. I think I text you guys or I text somebody.
How you
say-
like sneaking around? Don't spoil anything. Just talk about.
I'm not really like the sneaking around. So I'm getting
Takes
the little-
patience, doesn't
yeah.
it? Yeah.
But I mean, the story is amazing. And
I want to point out, me and Mike are playing on the hardest difficulty. and Andrew.
I was.
Okay, well, he dropped it down.
He dropped it down.
And Andrew was playing on normal, just so you know. So if I look like I'm tired and these guys look like they're fresh, that's because of the difficulty that we're playing on.
Yeah, after I was stuck in that one part, I dropped it
He's
down.
like, F this.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I ended up even posting it on my Twitter at my games.
Nobody cares. Nobody's going
All
to
right, whatever.
I'm your only follower.
Thanks.
Yeah,
But no, I mean, the first 15 minutes of gameplay provoked more emotion out of me than even a 2-hour movie has. I mean, it's a really intense game.
and it's the Pixar Up of games. So if you watch Pixar's Up,
right,
you know that beginning of that movie is horrible.
It's
it makes
very
you cry.
It makes you realize
And-
something
and,
very.
And this game does the exact same thing.
Yeah,
So-
I actually walked away from the game a little afterwards. I'm like, all right, I'll come back to it. I mean, that was only 5 minutes, but still, I was just like,
It's
wow.
very impactful. It's very emotional. And wait until you get, because you're only at still kind of in the beginning. Wait until you get further, and then you're like, oh my god. And while I was playing the game, to piggyback off of that, I couldn't help remembering, you know, what George Lucas and Steven Spielberg were saying during that interview about how games can't provoke such emotion. They're not going to be on the level of movies, and they can't, right, exactly, and
maybe they didn't watch Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
oh, that's
I'm sorry.
Ouch.
I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Ouch. Oh, but yeah, and I'm playing the game. And I'm like,
I say it out of love, guys.
no, you don't.
Put me in your movie.
Put you next to Harrison Ford. And I'm just sitting there like I don't see what they see, and maybe it's because I'm not old. I don't know.
They probably don't play as many games as we do, to be honest.
They
probably
own
busy.
gaming.
Yeah,
companies.
they own them, but I mean, I really don't see them playing like. I see them hear about games, and I'm sure they do, but I don't see them. They're too busy.
Right. Okay.
They're too busy making masterpieces or selling off Star Wars.
Right, and like they made the point. Well, it's never going to be on the level of William Shakespeare or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, William Shakespeare.
Have they not played William Shakespeare the game?
I'm like, William Shakespeare. I'm like, he's great, but he wasn't like, you know, the best of all time. Jeez.
I think games nowadays are just, they're really bringing it with the storylines. I mean, they're really getting you in the game.
That's what Naughty Dog is all about, and I think that's something that they were able to accomplish with the Last of Us. It kind of feels like their magnum opus, you know, the Magnum Carta or whatever. You know, it feels like they really figured it out. And once I complete it, you know, maybe I'll have a lot more to speak about it. Andrick has completed it because he likes the power.
I did in one sitting.
You did it in one sitting, and it was so hardcore that you had to go and rebuy Ratchet and Clank. And
Yeah, I had
play some
to palate cleanse my mind, and
so much emotion. So
I had
much
to go into the emotion of draw something and pull that whole thing up. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I will tell you this, Naughty Dog, you have so much emotion in all your games, like a lot of empathy, and that's what we wanted, and I think that's something that they were able to accomplish.
Yeah.
What about you? What are you playing right now?
Well,
Or if you want to speak about Last of Us, if you have
well, yeah. I mean, I'll get to Last of Us. I kind of played a couple of games since the last time we talked. So I played Remember Me, and that was by Capcom, I believe, and it was a good game. I think it was very for a select few people. I don't think it was for everybody. I loved it because of the art. I loved it because the story was all right. But it's just that type of world I like. I like the futuristic world, and just kind of gets me inspired.
Yeah, so it was like in France. It was a very like dystopian, futuristic world.
Yeah, Neo Paris. It had a lot of things going for it. Like it had some Total Recall stuff in there, some Akira stuff. Some, you know, all these little genres I liked. It didn't necessarily pull them off well on all fronts, but it was enough to keep me intrigued and want to play and see where the story went.
I'm going to have to borrow that game.
You know, I beat that game, and then from that game, I went to The Last of Us.
So one depressing,
and
thing
yeah,
another depressing,
more depressing future, not as pretty,
right?
And I did it in one sitting, just on normal. I'm not as hardcore as you guys.
I'm freaking crazy. That's why I'm playing it. That I mean, even after certain parts of the game, I was just like, I gotta take a break.
Yeah.
Playing on hard is just like ridiculous.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, it was pretty. There were some parts on normal that were just like ridiculous.
Right.
So I can just imagine on hard how it is.
And I took, because you kind of had like the side challenge. You say you didn't, but I decided to take the challenge.
Yeah.
Basically, Andrick said the game can't be completed without using a gun. And don't you hear that? It's just a bunch of gamers are now turning on Last of Us and trying to complete it without a gun. But I got through about 75% of it without having to use a gun,
Right.
until the part where you absolutely need to use a gun.
So my pretend challenge, then I was right.
More or less. Well, I mean, as far as semantics, yes.
A win is a win. As far as I'm concerned. Although I don't remember this challenge, okay, I'm going to take my win.
But I just wanted to say and just champion myself that I was able to complete 75% of the game without using a gun.
I give you
on
props
hard.
for not finishing the game without
But yeah. Anyway,
I couldn't do it. I wouldn't want to do that. I am not that type of person to play a game on hard.
No, what's funny is like once I grabbed the gun, I was like, well, this is kind of weird. You know,
It's like Batman grabbing the gun. No. Batarang.
Exactly.
I've actually taken one of those challenges myself. I mean, with Ocarina of Time.
All right.
I mean, I played that game so many times, and one day I was just bored. I'm like, I'm gonna beat Ocarina of Time without upgrading and getting any heart containers.
Oh,
So
wow.
I beat the game.
Wow.
Just with 3 hearts.
Yeah, with the 3 hearts, didn't upgrade them, just
Maybe we should have that as a topic.
not having a life.
Maybe we should have that as a topic for a show, and y'all can ask us in the comics what some personal achievements that you or personal goals you have set for yourself in a video game to be able to achieve. If you just want to do something absolutely ridiculous, like
Yeah.
for example, in NBA 2K13, I'm not going to say it because this would be mean, but I've taken the worst team with the worst player and made him MVP or like Hall of Fame difficulty, which is like ridiculous. Like the computer will come back and win. Every game I won by 2. It was like that. It was terrible.
Wow.
It was masochistic almost. Yeah,
I'm sure.
it was
You
terrible.
love doing that to yourself.
I don't know why.
So now there's gonna be a new challenge. You're gonna take the Cowboys and have them win a Super Bowl.
No. No. Well, they actually have talent. It's just
I want to see them win a Super Bowl, so
it's not gonna happen.
Give that challenge.
I
to you.
will make sure to take the Cleveland Browns and beat your Cowboys at the Super Bowl. Anyway,
Sports.
Andrew's like, yay.
Sports. Yay.
Okay, what else are you playing?
No, I beat The Last of Us. I needed a palate cleanser.
Right.
And so I went with Ratchet and Clank
The
full
chaser.
frontal assault.
Right.
And so I did that on the Vita. It's on the PS3 as well, but I did it on the Vita.
Just to support him.
I'm sorry?
I said just to support Vita.
Hey, I like the Vita. And I hear that there was actually a lot of Vita stuff at E3. They just didn't show it in the press conference.
Oh, okay.
So, and that being said, I understand because they were trying to push their new product. But I'm excited about the Vita. I played it on there. My hands were cramping after a few hours, but I powered through.
You're a terrible marketer of the Vita.
Hey, it's a small device.
I have very large hands, and the Vita is so very small.
Right. And so I did that, and I picked up Ratchet and Clank. Not Ratchet and Clank. Jack and Dexter.
Oh, right.
From Naughty Dog as well.
You're gonna really like it.
And so I've never beaten a game like that through completion. That's weird to say.
through completion, beating the game through completion.
Well, I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, you're really gonna like Jack and Dexter. Like when you first started off, it's like Mario ripoff kind of, and it's the typical adventure game. And then they really added a story to it, so it's really entertaining afterwards. And it's Naughty Dog doing Naughty Dog things. Yeah.
And what about
And
you?
yeah,
Well, I've been playing The Last of Us. I'm almost complete. It's a very emotional game. It just makes me reflect on what Lucas and Spielberg and all these other folks are saying. They don't get it. They just don't understand. There's a lot of game developers and designers and story writers. Just for Naughty Dog by themselves, and in other companies that put so much work and so many hours and so much time in getting the right actors, and the actors are putting so much work, and the music and the scores, just to dismiss it and say that it's not important and not on the level of movies.
It's an exciting time for games.
Right. Well, I mean, it's been an exciting decade for games. And
Well, just because they're going more story-driven now.
right. Instead of giving you like a score or something. Because, I mean, obviously you can grab an achievement or something like that, but a lot of people are looking forward to the game because of the narrative. Like when Bioshock Infinite did their thing, what everyone talked about. They talked about the freaking story, right? They talked about the narrative and the symbolism and, hey, did you catch this part of it? They didn't really talk about the mechanics too much. And that's what I really enjoy, and that's where things are going. And ironically, that's kind of raising while movies are starting to suck a little bit more too. So I just want to point out something, movies are kind of, y'all are doing a lot of reboots, and not doing very good narratives and storytelling.
And the games are bringing it.
And the games are bringing it because they have nothing to lose, Well, they have everything to lose. I should take that back. But they don't have gatekeepers in that industry saying, oh, you can only do it this way. Because if they only copy something else that someone's made, they're probably going to fail. They're probably not going to do very well. And then there's EA. Anyway, what else I'm going to play afterwards? I might. I'm just going to save up money for this fall because this fall is going to kick my ass.
And Deadpool. 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I'm going to play
That's
Deadpool.
right. I completely forgot about that.
I'm going to play Deadpool. But I still got to save up money because there's Watch Dogs, there's Grand Theft Auto 5, there's all these game consoles coming out. I've actually considered getting the Wii U, even though everybody's been bashing it.
You're not.
Okay, I'm probably not. Hey, that's Smash Brothers. I'm a Smash Brothers fan. And
It's not coming out until probably next year. So
I got
I'm not a
it.
Smash Brothers fan.
My
That's
Wii
one of the
U-
games I'm not.
I like my systems to collect dust before I get a new game. Okay, so just saying. But anything else that you guys like to say or talk about before we sign off?
No, not really. Nothing on my end.
All right, cool. Yeah, you guys definitely look out for other segments that we're going to be doing. We are complete with our show. Again, my name is Hill, Hil. This is Andrew on my right. Mike Games.
It's Hil Kojima.
Hil Kojima, whatever. Whatever. Anyway, this is the show 2Industry, and look out for our other shows in the near future. Have a good day.